and then I like something hit, and for me, it was the shift of student to employee. And then you and I have talked about that shift from employee to business owner. That one's a little stickier for me because
Yep.
I was damn good
Yeah.
at being an employee.
Yep.
So, but
Yeah.
then, back to get back to how I got here, sitting in this chair right now, a lot of steps, but promotion, promotion, promotion. Found a man online who didn't live where I live. And so we had about a year and a half of long distance relationship. Um, took a not even a lateral, it was like a straight demotion to move here. And that was hard because when you become motivated by that next promotion, by that pay increase, by that like influence increase, really hard to take a step back. But oh my gosh, that prepared me for the next job where I got promoted 3 times within 6.5 year 5.5 years because I was trying to make up for lost time, and then COVID happened and I started a business. There's some stories there too, but that's pretty much
Yeah.
sums it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is people believed in you. You took chances. You took some risks. Um, some of it was a little bit of fear. And letting go of certain things too, because you said it. I hope you let go of it. I don't know. Maybe you haven't, because you said this a few times. I was not a good student. I was not a good
Yeah.
student. Not a good student. I wasn't very good as a student. You said it a bunch of
Uh-huh.
times,
That's the
but
life
probably
lesson.
letting go of that. Um, as well. And I
Well,
think that's important too. Sorry,
no, keep
I
riff,
think
girl.
I just think it's important to call that out because, all these kids in school now and in college or whatever, and, a lot of us have been taught that, hey, you've got to excel as a student. You have to be top this, top that, blah blah blah. And I guess there's some truth to that when it comes to like competing for like Ivy League or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think the lesson there is that just because one area was not necessarily your strength for one reason or another, it doesn't mean you can't fulfill your dreams. It doesn't mean you can't be successful. It just means you have to figure out your own like unique way to success,
Yeah. It's
you know?
it's a lot of you have to figure out what are those other skills you can develop, and one thing for
Yeah.
sure, I never one time in my career did I have a job interview and not get the job. I'm a damn good job interviewer.
Damn,
And you
girl.
you have to be if you've got that little chip on your it's not even a chip on my shoulder, but it felt like for years this thing that other people had I just couldn't get. I couldn't you can't go back and remake your grades. Although, asterisk, I did go back and get my master's, started in
Mhm.
2018, finished in 2020, 3.98. And I was
Yeah,
like, because I hustled and I also knew what I wanted to do, and it's different. Having a master's program when you're an adult is different than doing undergrad
completely.
as an actual kid. I was
Yeah,
17 when I started college.
yeah, yep,
So,
exact do you ever feel like you're behind still?
not anymore, I don't. Sometimes I feel like it's harder to take the really and we've talked about this. It's harder to convince yourself to take those really big swings when it's your
Mhm.
own business.
Yeah,
Um, but I know for sure I would not have been successful at this, running my business, the coaching and consulting, if I hadn't proven to myself that I could be an excellent employee and an excellent uh, supervisor, manager, director. I had to prove to myself along the way that I could do each one of those. And so this just felt like the next progression.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good story. I
Thanks,
like
man.
it. I mean, I kinda knew most of it, but in chippity choppy ways, not like in a nice little timeline for me, which I
Yeah,
appreciate.
of
I appreciate a
course.
good timeline. And I
Wait,
think
I do wanna add hold on, one thing. I
go.
also wanna add, there is the privilege of me being a white woman. Like, add that to that, alright? As a white woman, going to a university that people have heard of, working in places that people have heard of, that has always helped, without a doubt.
Hmm,
So, I can't deny that at all, and I just hope that I can use some of that privilege to help other people.
hmm, interesting. I love that you said that. That's awesome. That's a whole different topic.
Yeah, it
Uh
is.